Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So today, we met my friend over here, the money market graph. We talked about it. We worked with him a little bit. And over here, my other friend, the aggregate demand curve. Notice the aggregate demand curve is alone here, just for simplicity's sake. But you should know how to put the short run and long run aggregate supply curve on here in three different scenarios: long run equilibrium, recession, inflationary gap, or producing above full employment output. You should be able to do those things still. Some of you looked a little rusty today in class, so you may want to sharpen up there. But let's talk here. So the money supply and money demand curves make up the money market. We talked in class, but just to review, the money supply curve is controlled by the Federal Reserve here in the United States, and oftentimes used on the test, the AP test, as the Federal Reserve, much to the chagrin of people around the world, where the Federal Reserve Bank has no direct impact, let's say, but other central banks do the same thing, so sometimes the international people quibble about the wording here. And so the money supply is going to be controlled by some central banking authority. The three tools of monetary policy you should know: open market operations, buying and selling bonds, a reserve requirement, and a discount rate. But we're just going to mess with this a little bit here. And so if you saw my previous video, we'll sing you a little song. Let's pretend we're going to buy bonds tonight. That sure means that my money supply is going to move to the right. All right, so I'm going to do that. So the money supply is going to increase here. And the key thing about this is the relationship here, because notice my equilibrium point, let me get my finger in the right spot. My equilibrium point has changed now. It is lower. So what that means is, we talked about how the interest rate kind of tells you about the value of money. The price of $1 is essentially what the interest rate is telling you. And here the interest rate has, well, I didn't label that very well. Why didn't somebody say something? Here the interest rate has fallen. So what does that mean? Think about what you would do if all of a sudden the interest rate dropped really fast, or even slowly. But let's say it happened fast. All of a sudden it was 10% lower. Would you hold your money in the bank? Probably not. Why do that? I'm not earning anything on my money. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to spend it, man. I'm going to consume away. Woo! Lower interest rate. Consume, consume, consume. All right. Now that should tell you something here. You should know your four shifters for your aggregate demand curve. They are the formula for GDP. C plus I plus G plus NX. Well, the consumption, we just said, lower interest rate, they're going to consume more. So our AD curve should go to the right. This is the relationship that you have to know over here. Buy bonds tonight, money supply moves right. Okay, sure, great. We get a lower interest rate. Interest rates go down, and I'll just have to buy that brand new wedding gown. So I'm going to buy more stuff. It doesn't matter what stuff it is, really. It just means that I'm buying it. It makes my AD curve go to the right. And you should be able to know, if I put some other things up here. Let me do this. I'll ask you a couple questions. If you can answer them, I'll give you a little extra credit. You send it to my Edmodo page. So let's see here. Because the Federal Reserve tried to, or attempted to buy bonds, what happened to unemployment in this economy? That is your extra credit question. And give me a little explanation along the way. All right? I'll step out of the way so you can see. If you have any questions, let me know. What happened to unemployment?